Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about the assumptions about the medical coding field. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. I put out the question earlier in the week, what are some assumptions that you have about the medical coding field? Or what are some of the things that you've heard about the medical coding field? So I want to thank everybody who submitted their assumptions because you all truly helped to shape today's episode. So I thank you very much. And I would also like to announce before I get into the episode, I hit 9,000 subscribers today. 9,000 organically grown subscribers today on my channel. Everything that I do on my channel, for my channel, comes from my heart. The way that I present information and the way that I talk and share my stories, it all comes from me. It all comes from here. So I really appreciate you guys being a part of my journey on this. Thank you so much for all the sharing and all of the feedback and the discussions that I've had. I really appreciate that. It means the world to me. So thank you so much. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so that way you don't miss out on anything either. We are on our way to 10,000 and I cannot wait. So thank you all so much. All right, so I'm going to read the comments and then we're going to go back through them. So let us begin. All right, first one. I have heard that medical billing and coding is downright the most boring job ever. Such harsh words. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, but goodness, just because I want to get into it doesn't mean you have to bash it. That's right. That's right. I have heard that this field is extremely hard. I have heard people quitting and going into another medical field. It's repetitive. It will be replaced by robots. And actually, I think they mean artificial intelligence. Okay. It's hard. I have heard that it is a waste of time to pursue medical coding through AAPC or AHIMA because when you graduate, you won't have experience. If you have no experience, you will not get a job because no one has the patience anymore to give first-time coders a chance since we are at the end of the world. Oh my goodness. I have heard that you should not pursue medical coding because you will not get a job without going through a particular coding program that I'm not going to mention by name, since they claim to be the only school where you can get an internship. That is untrue. You have to have gotten into medical coding years ago because it is too hard to get into these days. You have had to know someone at XYZ hospital just to get a job. I've heard from quite a few people that they can't find a job after graduating and passing their RHIT exam. Is this true? That it is hard to come by after graduating? Thank you. I finished an 8-month course and could never land a job. Everybody wants 2 years of experience. Catch 22. That's what they said, okay? That there is no room for advancement, that medical coding is not worth doing because you will never find a job. That people can't find a job afterwards because they need 1 to 2 years of experience, and that it is not a good career choice for someone with a nomadic lifestyle. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to address the elephant in the room, right? Why is it so hard? Everybody says you need 1 to 2 years, 5 years of experience before you can get in. Nobody wants to hire because nobody's patient enough to teach anymore. That's probably true, that people don't want to help coach the newer generation of medical coders, which is why I have my channel as well, because hopefully this will catch the ear of somebody who does hiring and will say, you know what, maybe we should give new coders a chance. But here's the thing. When you are a brand new coder, you have to be able to bring your A game. And yes, I know it's difficult because all you've learned is everything from the book. And how are you supposed to get real world experience if everybody keeps telling you no? You have to apply anyway, regardless of whether they ask you to have experience or not. And somebody wrote me the other day and said that somebody told her don't apply for places that are asking for experience. If that was true, then you wouldn't be able to apply anywhere, right? So here's the thing. Employers are going to ask for experience because they are going to want to get to the meat of the potato really quick. They want somebody that can come in and already have the knowledge and get going. It's on the new coders, who we were all new coders at one time. Every single one of us that's in the industry was a new coder at one time. You have to be able to say, look, I know this. My resume looks good. My cover letter looks good. I understand the guidelines. I understand the rules about coding, and I understand all of these things. You have to be able to bring these things to your employer or your potential employer rather, to be able to show them, hey, I'm ready. Because there's a lot of people that go through these very accelerated programs, and they have said to me, Bleu, I really feel like I was taught just to pass the certification exam, and then that's it. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, but I passed my certification exam. That may be true, but here's the thing. You have to do some self-study. You have to be able to say, okay, my program was accelerated and I learned this, but I'm going to keep working with the workbooks so that I can get faster, so that I can really know and understand what I'm doing, so that when I do get that call for that job, my employer is going to want to meet me. They're going to want to hire me because I am fresh and ready and I know what I'm doing, but I just need the experience. You have to apply anyway. It's very disappointing that somebody would tell somebody who is brand new to medical coding, don't apply if they're asking for experience. You apply anyway, and you don't allow anybody to stop you just because they say, oh, well, 1 to 2 years experience. Okay. But you highlight all of your transferable skills and you put that on your resume and you put that on your cover letter and you talk very frankly about yourself on your cover letter. It cannot be just regular run of the mill. And I know I keep talking about this, about the resume and about the cover letter, but it's true, guys. This is what the employer or the potential employer is seeing before they even meet you. That calling card has to look immaculate. They have to be so excited about who is this person that is on this resume that they call you up and they completely ignore the fact that you have no experience because your resume looks good. That's what you have to do. When I was coming up and when I was applying for jobs, I ran into this problem. It took me 2 months to get a job, but I finally got a job. I had to go through a temporary agency that hired for medical professions. So that was how I was able to get my first assignment, to put some experience on my resume. Guys, you have to apply anyway and keep applying. Do not give up, because there's a lot of people that wait months and months before they finally get their first job. One of the most standout viewers that I have, and he is absolutely amazing. He graduated high school, got his certification in medical coding. He's young, right? 18 years old, getting a certification. Nobody wanted to take him seriously. He applied and applied and applied everywhere. 6 months, he finally got his job. He's a coder today, and he is extremely successful. This young man is amazing, and I commend him every time I talk to him because he is just really into it, and he's grasped it, and he did not give up. And that was the one thing he said he was not going to do, was give up. Because, yeah, was it difficult to get all this rejection? Yes, but he still did it anyway. And there's a lot of people that have reached out to me during the pandemic, the beginning of the pandemic, when they got their certifications. They were like, Bleu, I'm really scared because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a job. Everybody's remote right now. And I know you said you can't get a job as a remote coder without experience. That is normally true when we are not in a pandemic. To be able to work from home is usually requiring 3 to 5 years of experience. But because of this pandemic, there have been concessions made by employers because the industry still needs medical coders. This is why I tell people don't give up. There's still people that are going to be retiring every day. There's still people that are going to quit because they're tired of it. And so there's going to be that hole. And of course, new coders are going to have to come in and fill that. But if you are not putting yourself out there like you are supposed to and really applying for these jobs, then you're going to miss out. Because yes, if you only apply at 3 to 4 places and they say, well, sorry, we can't hire you, and you take that no for an answer, oh, okay. Well, what happens when they open up a job listing again? Are you going to go back again? Well, no, they already said no. No, wrong answer. You got to apply again, because that's how they're going to know you're persistent. That's how I got the position that I'm in now. So originally, I wasn't supposed to get it because the first time They did the interview and they said, okay, everything looks great. You know, how soon can you start? I said 2 weeks to the day that I get the call. They laughed. And then I didn't get the call back. And I thought it was this great meeting. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm so ready to go. And they told me, they didn't tell me, right? I got the ghosting. So I was like, oh, why? I just want the job. About a few weeks later, a month later, they opened up a position again, but it was for a higher position. I went back and applied again because literally there's nothing that they could say, right? I mean, what are they going to do? Tell me no? They already ghosted me the first time. The second time, and it wasn't long after that I had applied and the job listing had closed for review, I got the call and I got the job offer. So being persistent is key. And a lot of times schools and other counselors, career counselors, they're not talking about that hard part because either they don't know or they don't want to scare people into not even trying. But here's the thing. When you want to do something and you want something so bad, you will make it happen somehow, some way. And even if your first position is not as a medical coder, maybe it's in prior authorizations, maybe it's in risk adjustment, maybe it's in medical billing, maybe it's in medical records. Whatever you have to do to get experience onto your resume is what you have to do. Don't have that all or nothing mindset. If I can't get into a job in medical coding, then I don't want a job. I'm just going to continue doing what I do. Then you just threw away all that time that you spent to learn, to get your certification. Think about all of the hours that you spent studying, worrying, are you going to pass? And then you pass, and then you get this credential. Now what are you going to do with it? It's on you to make sure that you say, I'm not going to give up. And there's so many people that give up, and it's heartbreaking. Do I wish that it would be easier for employers to hire new people? Of course. I think that is probably one of the most irritating things about this field is the fact that everybody wants experience. But how are you supposed to get it if no one will hire you? I wish that would change. That's why I always make the plea on my channel. But in the meantime, you're going to have to go through what we as veteran coders have had to go through, which is that we had to apply. And I did do a question a few weeks ago asking that very thing. How did you get your start? And the majority of the people said that they kept applying until somebody gave them a chance. So that is something to think about. You have to do that. And yes, is it difficult? Of course. Is it harder than you go? Yes. Trust me. But when you get that position and you get your foot in the door and you're able to say, I'm a medical coder now, it's amazing. It's amazing, and all that hard work that you did will have been for that moment. But you can do it. You just have to keep applying. You have to believe in yourself. You got to make sure that resume looks good, my folks. You really do. Because having that good resume, that's going to get their attention. Every single time I've applied, they've always said the same thing to me. Well, Bleu, you don't have experience. And I'm like, obviously. They go, but your resume looks really good. You know, we're really sorry that we have to tell you that we can't take you on right now, but please get experience and come back to us. And I said, okay. And every time I just took it like, okay, there's nothing that I could do. But after a while, I knew that that was part of the process, that I was going to have to take that rejection. And that's what you all have to do, is take that rejection. Know that it's coming so that you don't feel disappointed. But keep going out there and apply for those alternative positions, because trust me, having any of those positions is going to put that transferable skills onto your resume. So that way, when you try to apply for a coder again, you'll be able to get it. So that's my point on that one. I know that one a little long, but for those that are out there that they're brand new to this, I don't want you to get scared off just because you can't get a job right away. There's no reason for it. You have to just dig in. It's part of the process. This is a shaping process. That's what I call it, the shaping process, where you go through that rejection and it's going to make you stronger. It's like when you get in to become a medical coder and you got to deal with these doctors. Oh, and they start to give you attitude like, I don't have to listen to you. It's part of the shaping process. It's how you handle it, which is another thing that I got to address now is it hard? Guys, it's medical coding. We have to know what doctors know while never having gone to medical school. Yes, It is going to be a challenge. We have to know medical terminology, which is a completely different language. We got to know anatomy like the back of our hand, because that is the base foundation of our knowledge. If we don't understand anatomy and medical terminology and pathophysiology, you're not going to understand the full weight of these codes, these diagnosis codes. And then when you start getting into the procedure coding, what does all this mean? Are you selecting the correct procedure code? It's possible, but you have to continue to study. Even when you get your certification, go to free websites like justcoding.com. I'll leave their link in the description box below. They have 2 subscriptions. They have a free subscription and they have a paid subscription. The free subscription allows you access to free coding quizzes, whether it is inpatient, outpatient, or procedure coding or diagnosis coding. They've got it all. And it's free. And they've got all kinds of things on that website. I highly recommend it. And I also have my Patreon website if you're interested in that. Patreon is a lot like YouTube, but it is where you pay to sponsor the creator, which would be me. And I do all kinds of word puzzles and word searches and all kinds of matchup worksheets and things like that. I talk about myself on the channel, and I just talk more in depth about different things. So if you're interested in that, check out the link below. But that is something that everybody's going to take the "is it difficult" question differently. There's going to be people that don't understand because no one's explained things to them. And that's the thing. It's difficult, especially if you don't have a really good instructor. And all instructors are not created equally, just like all medical coders are not created equally. That's why you have to learn how to do your research and look around, read books, go to websites, and try to figure out how this is broken down. And if not, then by all means, contact me, let me know. And if you're interested in setting up a tutoring session, my rates for that will be in the description box below. But I want you to know there is help available. There's all kinds of tutors on LinkedIn as well. So if you're interested in that, and I'm a tutor myself, so again, you have options. Really start to open your eyes and start to do the research. Because once you learn how to do the research, it's not going to be so difficult after a while. When you read the coding guidelines and you get familiar with them, it's not going to be so difficult after a while. But you have to devote time into this. This is not a job. Medical coding is not a job, and I hope people understand me when I say this. It is not a job, it's a career. What is the difference between a job and a career? A job is one that you just go to collect a check basically and go home. A career is something that you invest yourself in. You invest time, you invest money, and you invest your energy. When you are having to do your continuing education for your to maintain your credentials, right? Or credential, that's part of the career part. But you have to put more into it. A job, you don't have to, right? A job is going to be like, okay, I'm just here to collect a check and just go home. Medical coding is not the same way. Medical coding takes finesse, it takes time, it takes dedication, and you really have to get into it in order to appreciate it. Because there's people that it doesn't dawn on them that this is something that they could enjoy that much. But when you really start to look at it, then you'll understand what I mean. But everything takes time and it's patience. I'm 10 plus years in and I'm still learning. And I'm still studying. And there's still things that I'm learning. It would have been a lot easier if I would just went to medical school for all of this, right? But you know, the vast majority of us as medical coders doesn't go to medical school, but we still have to be able to understand what they're saying, these doctors. And that's quite a feat in itself. So some of the other ones, about the internship, that they're the only school that offers internships. That's not true. There's a lot of schools that they do offer internships, externships, just so that you can make some connections. But it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get hired somewhere. An internship or even an externship is meant to give you those connections into the industry, to meet so-and-so and to meet so-and-so. So that way you can let them know who you are. Let them see your work ethic. And that's another thing too. Doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter what kind of clinic you're coding. You should always put your best foot forward because you never know who's paying attention to you. And in medical coding, there is literally 5 degrees of separation. And it doesn't matter that there's thousands of medical coders. Trust me, somewhere, some way along the way, you're going to meet somebody who knows somebody else. Because that's happened to me several times just on my channel alone. And these are people who are complete strangers to me. They'll start talking and they'll tell me that they know somebody who knows me. Oh, okay. Oh, you know so-and-so. Oh, okay. So you have to let your reputation be the one that does the talking. So always put your best foot forward. Always try to go above and beyond when you are doing anything when it comes to your work. Because you have to be able to stand by everything that you say and do. And you have to also be willing to learn. And you have to be willing to say, yes, I was wrong. But now I can learn and I'm going to, do this again. Or I need to stand up for myself because I know that this is correct. I have all of my references and my resources, and they're from legitimate resources to show you here. And you have to be able to be willing to stand up at any time and every single time that you need to. Okay. And what else do we have here? There's no room for advancement. Oh, totally untrue. So many coders have gone from being just a coder to going back to school, getting their degree so they can come back and be a supervisor or a manager. There is room for advancement. You can go from being a coder to a lead coder, and then from a lead coder to an auditor. So those don't require you to have separate credentials. Although I know that AAPC does have the auditor credential. So there's always those things, but it's not necessary a lot of the times unless the employer is specifically asking for it. But other than that, you are literally able to advance. There is advancement involved when it comes to medical coding. Whoever said that, I mean, I don't know, but clearly that is not true. And medical coding is absolutely worth it. If you want to do this, then you will find a way, no matter what. And like I said, two months it took me, and then I finally had to go back to the school and ask for help. And they were like, okay, we're going to put you with the temporary agency that my friend has. And for me, I said, oh, I don't want to work in a temporary agency. What are you talking about? I want a real job. And he told me, he's like, well, Blue, all of this experience is going to be filler for your resume, and that's what you want. It doesn't matter that how long you've had it. As long as you start to show you have some kind of experience on your resume, that's the start. And I said, okay. And I'm here now because of it. Because I put my pride aside and was like, okay, I'll take this temporary job. My first temporary job was for 3 months. It was at a cancer center. And it was oncology coding. You want to talk about being dropped into the deep end of the pool? No encoder, by the way. It was all with the books. So that is another thing too. But I did it, and I'm here today. So that is something that you all should think about. If you are wanting to give up, don't give up. If you're tired, I understand, but you got to keep going. Whatever you do, you got to keep going. You can't let the setback of not being able to say, oh, I got a job right away. You can't say that. You got to be able to give yourself a break and know that it's a little bit of a challenge, but if you keep applying yourself, you're going to make it. And I've seen, and to wrap this one up, I have seen one gentleman on LinkedIn, and I'm very impressed with him. And he says, you know what? I got a rejection letter today, but it's okay. I'm going to keep applying. I'm like, that's the spirit. That's what you got to do. He's like, I know I'm going to get in. That's exactly right. It's people like him that get in because they have that good attitude. And he's going to maintain that good attitude. I know he is. I can tell just by the way that he writes. So, but I wish you all luck. And I hope that this has cleared up. I'm looking to see really quick if there's anything else I didn't address. But you can still get into it. And no, you don't have to know anybody because I didn't know anybody when I got into the field either. Just saying. So I'm going to wrap this one up. But thank you all so much for this. This was fun. I really appreciate you all being so interactive about this. And again, thanks again. So if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe. and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all next time. Bye!